18th of Feb at the pay-per-view, 5 IPW guys will face 5 Defiant guys. Stu, bring whoever you want, mate, because IPW are ready. And next week, he'll defend his Defiant World Championship. Yeah, next week he defends against Gabriel Kidd.
If you want that belt, you better put up a fight and fight me for it.
Let's go right now.
Who will try for the Canadian destroyer here? Don't tell me! Oh my God! Mackenzie puts away Priestley!
This is what Rampage Brown's training will get you. While he takes you up, you pay him good money so he can teach you how to be a professional little bitch.
Bailey! His arm caught up as well! Nowhere to go! It's all over! And Bailey had to give up. Bailey gave up. Sabre Jr. still your champion. IPW's reign of terror continues here in Defiant Wrestling tonight in London. But will it all backfire for Billy Wood and his group of renegades as Gabriel Kidd challenges Austin Aries for the Defiant World Title? Dave Bradshaw here at ringside with James R. Kennedy, and will we see the upset of the year tonight in the nation's capital?
It certainly would. It wouldn't just be the upset of the year, Bradshaw. The upset of the century. Bellywood and IPW, they believe that Gabriel Kidd has no chance. We will see if that's right. I personally don't think that Kidd can win the title. I've been proven wrong before. Let's just see how it pans out. Oh, here comes a wounded animal.
The leader of the Curve Crawlers, of whom there is a large contingent in London, but Kirby has not had the best couple of weeks. Martin Kirby, of course, was the man who lost that match to Mark Haskins that gave control of Defiant Wrestling over to IPW.
Yeah, a match, by the way, which I missed the end of. I was already on my way to hospital after Haskins, out of nowhere, smacked me in the face with a chair.
Well, the conclusion of that match, quite aside from what happened to you, was controversial in its own right, but Kirby, nonetheless, has got back on the horse here, so to speak. He is in London, he has a microphone, and he is going to address this army of curb crawlers in our nation's capital.
What's on Kirby's mind? I wonder.
And they love him everywhere we go.
Well, London, it would seem that I've shown up here tonight to be told I don't have a match.
Yet more mind games from IPW.
Because IPW management don't think I'm worthy of being on this show. Now, IPW and Defiant Wrestling, they can have their stupid little promotional war all they want, because I don't care one little bit. The only reason I care is because someone of IPW name is holding something I want. And that's a shiny gold belt. So I'm calling you out right here, right now for a title match, Austin Aries.
Now let's see if the champion's got the cojones to defend.
Title match right here, right now, you bunch of dickheads.
Martin.
I don't see the champion.
This guy.
A very smackable face of Billy Wood.
Yeah, I've never met anyone who could outsmug me.
Martin, you must be mistaken.
Leave it out, mate.
This is IPW, Martin, not Kirby Mania.
IPW getting drowned out.
Stop chanting, Dave Bradshaw.
Martin, why would we give you a shot at the Defiant title tonight? Martin, you lost against IPW's own Mark Haskins. So Martin, you've got the night off.
Kirby doesn't want the night off. He may have no choice, though. Bellywood is calling the shots around here, whether we like it or not.
Well, we're good for business for Kirby
So
to get
Martin,
that championship
you
match.
can either do it the easy way, walk into the back, getting in your car and pissing off back to the north, or you could do it the hard way.
London has made up their minds.
Well, it's a tough choice. Steady on, mate, we've all had a drink. But I guess I'm not leaving of my own accord. So since I'm not leaving, how about we bust out a bit of karaoke?
Oh, now let's not take things
This is
too
the
far
hard way,
here.
Martin. Welcome to IPW.
Martin Kirby may need to sing Don't Stop Believing, because look at this. Look who's surrounding the ring.
Well, here comes Rob Sharp and Damien Dunn are going to do a number here on Kirby.
Maybe Achy Breaky Heart would be more fitting.
As much as I don't have any desire to hear Kirby Oki, I have even less desire to see these two idiots in there.
Oh! Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Well, Rob Sharp, I'd say he lost some brain cells there, but he didn't have any to lose. Damien Dunn takes one in the jaw from Kirby.
Hey, there's no fun in that. Oh, look, Martin Kirby wants Billy Wood.
Wood, considering he's the man in charge, got out of here pretty quickly, didn't he? So Damien Dunn and Rob Sharp left lying. IPW embarrassed by Martin Kirby.
Aside from my soul, there goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul.
Well, a ridiculous situation here in the women's division. Veda Scott on her way to the ring for what will be a handicap championship match.
The following contest set for one fall. It has a 30-minute time limit. It is a 2-on-1 handicap match, and it is for the Defiant Wrestling Women's Championship. Introducing first from Providence, Rhode Island, USA, this is Veda Scott.
Veda Scott has had her issues with our women's champion Kaylee Ray. over the past few months, Scott is going to have an opportunity here with the odds stacked in her favour to become the champion.
Not a good situation for Kaylee Ray. And here comes another very dangerous female. Something to prove. Something to prove. That sums up the quest of this woman.
Coming to the ring at this time, her partner from Newton Aycliffe, England. This is Little Miss Roxy.
Little Miss Roxy herself has had an opportunity recently against Kaylee Ray one-on-one where she came up short, but of course this is two-on-one, and all of this is because of IPW owner Billy Wood, who I think is amusing himself here by putting Kaylee Ray, the Defiant Women's Champion, in this situation, completely messing around with our contendership system here. Neither of these two women are currently the #1 contender. That honour belongs to Millie McKenzie. And yet we're in a situation here where either of these two could become champions. It's completely ridiculous.
Well, Wood, as you say, obviously having some fun at the expense of Defiant Wrestling and everyone involved in it. And that extends to the women's division and the women's champ.
Wrestling out of Scotland, she is the current reigning, defending Defiant Wrestling Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray!
Kaylee Ray, ever popular here, she has been our champion in Defiant Wrestling since last June. So now 8 months as the champion, but of all her defences, you have to say, this one may be the most dangerous because, as we've already mentioned, 2-on-1 here. If either Roxy or Veda Scott can get the pinfall or submission on Kaylee Ray, then the person who does that becomes the women's champion.
Well, think about this. Roxy and Veda Scott, they want to work together to beat down the champion, but only one woman could walk away with that championship. So yes, a handicap situation, but in many respects, at some point, this could turn into almost a triple threat match.
Yeah, that's the one ray of light here for Kaylee Ray. She's going to go for a gory bomb early on Roxy. Good strategy, good idea if it had worked for Kaylee Ray to try and take out one of these two in the early going.
Veda Scott standing back, watching Roxy do her thing, now taking charge.
The thing is here, from Kaylee Ray's perspective, what can you do? All you can do, really, when there's two world-class women's wrestlers against you here is to take the beating and then hope, as you say, that when it comes to deciding which of them's going to get the decision, that the disagreement will be such that Kaylee Ray gets an opening.
Well, it looks to me like Veda Scott, she's calling the shots, commanding Little Miss Roxy to put the boots to the champion Kaylee Ray, and now just stepping in to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, well, Roxy didn't need asking twice. It's a boot into the throat, that was really, from Veda Scott onto Kaylee Ray.
Oh, but Kaylee Ray with the reversal.
Goes for a cover, and well, that's the problem that Kaylee's going to have if she gets any opportunities whatsoever here, is that either of the other two, whichever one is not involved in the pinfall, can break it up. So the challenge here for the champion is a huge one. Speaking of challenges, we've got a big night ahead here on Defiant, our main event, the challenge of a lifetime for young Gabriel Kidd, just 20 years old, and with an opportunity tonight to become the Defiant Wrestling Champion by beating one of the best wrestlers in the world, the so-called greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries.
Well, that's the key. You said it right there, Bradshaw. One of the best pro wrestlers in the world today. And not only that, Austin Aries is the Defiant World Champion. Gabriel Kidd, his dreams could come true, or tonight, if Billy Wood and IPW UK have their way, could be Gabriel Kidd's next chapter in his nightmare.
Yeah, well, Billy Wood was complacent, almost completely indifferent to the idea of Gabriel Kidd having any chance against Austin Aries, as Kaylee Ray, meanwhile, here is struggling. We'll find out what will happen there later on. Right now, though, it is the Women's Championship
Oh, look at this, Veda Scott trying to steal Roxy's thunder.
And this is it. This is what you were talking about. This is where this one could go south in terms of this alliance in this handicap match.
Not just a straight-up handicap match, the title on the line. There's a prize that only one woman can hold. Veda Scott and Little Miss Roxy, both very competitive women. They want that prize.
So, Roxy going to continue to boot him with that. Even though it's a disagreement, they are at least on the same page in terms of still continuing to gang up here against the champion. And quite aside from Kaylee Ray, imagine Millie McKenzie, supposed to be the number one contender. Oh my God, that DDT from Kaylee Ray. An opportunity here for the champion to recover.
Well, as you say, Bradshaw, Millie McKenzie right now preparing for Kaylee Ray. That could all change. She could be preparing for a different champion, Little Miss Roxy or Veda Scott.
Well, you've got to understand Millie McKenzie's frustration because she must be wondering how these two have jumped the queue.
Her time will come. Millie McKenzie only 17 years old, if you can believe that, and already destined for success.
McKenzie calls herself the first 21st century badass. These three young ladies are late 20th century badasses. Look at that from Kaylee Ray.
Roxy was wiped out.
The cover, and Kaylee Ray nearly did the almost unthinkable by winning in this 2-on-1 situation.
Veda Scott almost missed the opportunity to break up that pin. Got there just in time.
Kaylee using Veda Scott's body as a weapon against Roxy, but Scott breaks up the pin again.
Kaylee Ray can't catch a breath in this match. Both challengers coming at her hot and heavy.
A neck breaker from Scott, going to go for the cover again. Once again, Roxy will break it up.
There's no teamwork in this though, not anymore. Again, both Roxy and Veda Scott want to be women's champ. Could this work to the favour of the champion, Kaylee Ray?
Smug as Billy Wood is in putting this match together, supposedly just to mess with our women's division, maybe he hasn't quite thought this through, because it seems to me that there's an inherent flaw in this plan as Kaylee Ray is looking to expose here. Got both the legs. Oh my, the gory bomb, the cover. Kaylee Ray could pin both of these young ladies, and she does. The champion retains. Wow.
Here is your winner, and still Defiant Wrestling Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray!
Billy Wood's plan didn't work there, Bradshaw.
Well, let's hope that's not the last time tonight that IPW and Billy Wood have egg on their face. They tried to mess around with our women's division, but Kaylee Ray is still our champion.
Adam Wilborn backstage with Zach Gibson. And Zach, people are asking why you turned down this one-on-one match with Rampage Brand at the next
Well, don't try and put that on me. Don't try and paint this picture of me running from Rampage Brown. That is not how it goes. You need to get your facts straight. I don't want the Defiant Wrestling fans looking at me like I run away from other wrestlers. I don't want the internet punters trying to get that little moral victory over me. I know how petty they can be, and that is not how this story is going. Despite what they say about me, despite what they say about my accent, despite what they say about my background, I am a thinking man's wrestler. I take the matches that suit me, so that I can get the paydays that suit me. And there's just no money in me wrestling Rampage. What's the benefit to me? And I've got Stu Bennett breathing down my neck. And I've got IPW management blowing up my email address, trying to get me on the private messages on Twitter, demanding this match, begging me for this match, saying how it's going to make the pay-per-view better, saying that how everyone wants to see this match. I couldn't really care less. But then, with all this, talk about 5-on-5, IPW versus Defiant, if you really want it, I'll tell you what, if you really want it, since Rampage Brown has unnecessarily dragged his trainees into this little feud that we're having, why doesn't Rampage bring his two very best trainees? And I'll bring my two best trainees from my school up in Liverpool. We'll have ourselves a little 3-on-3. And if Rampage's team somehow manage to sneak or steal a victory, I'll give him his stupid little match, and I'll give you an IPW your stupid little match. But when we win, when my team win, then we'll have a match that makes sense to me, a match that I can get on board with. We'll have Team Gibson, my 3, versus Rampage Brown, 3-on-1 at the pay-per-view. Go and sign that up now. Go and write that up, and I'll sign that contract any day.
Zach Gibson, thank you very much.
All right, no worries. Oh, Div.
Time for a tag team rematch here on Defiant. As one of the Midland's best tag teams about to make their return here to Defiant, and hoping to pick up a second consecutive win against their opponents tonight.
The following contest, it is a tag team match set for one fall. It has a 20-minute time limit. Coming to the ring at this time, total combined weight of 358 pounds. This is the team of Jim and Lee, the Hunter Brothers.
But Jim and Lee Hunter, one of the best or most well-travelled teams in the whole of the United Kingdom, going to take on a much less experienced team in the South Coast Connection. And as I said, last time these two teams met, the Hunters were victorious.
Well, they also had the hometown advantage. Situation is reversed here in London.
Here they come. One of the most exciting teams
Their
in the world.
Total combined weight, 320 pounds. This is the team of Ashley Dunn, Kelly Six, the South Coast Connection.
As you said, Jim and Lee Hunter, natives of the Midlands, and that first match between these two teams took place in Birmingham. South Coast Connection, obviously their name explains where they're from, but London not far removed from the hometowns of these two young men.
Well, they aim to please and they aim to make a splash on the tag team division here in Defiant Wrestling. Well, it'd be 2 for 2 for the Hunter Brothers, one of them away from home.
Well, Kelly Six and Ashley Dunn, the South Coast Connection, are both friends with and have been mentored by the aerial assassin Will Ospreay early in their careers. You will see just how high flying and just how agile these two are, and you can see the influence of Ospreay in so much of what these two do, but will it be enough to take out the Hunters here?
Well, one thing I noticed in the previous match between the Hunters and South Coast was that the brothers, the Hunter Brothers, hey, the clue's in the name. They are siblings. They have that advantage, being together since birth. They have the advantage over Dunn and Six, who, yes, they're great friends. However, they are not brothers.
They're almost like brothers. These two have grown up training together.
They don't have that telepathic bond, though, that brothers do. Jim and Lee Hunter, they have that.
We'll find out as this one proceeds here. It's Lee Hunter against Ashley Dunn to start things out.
A little test of strength.
Goodness, there's
maybe not.
Boot right into the midsection, but a tag which I don't think Hunter saw. From Ashley Dunn to Kelly Six.
And there's the tag.
And Six comes in. It's Jim Hunter now who's the legal man. The brothers from the West Midlands. Here's that tag team synergy of the South Coast Connection. Kelly Six and Ashley Dunn drop toe hold from Six. Ashley Dunn will take a run up. Running shooting star from Ashley Dunn.
South Coast Connection starting this one off hot. Fans love it. It will take a lot more than that, though. Sorry to cut you off, Bradshaw. I have to say, it will take a lot more than that to take down the Hunter Brothers.
Double foot stomp, that could break an arm. SCC debuted in what is now Defiant Wrestling over a year ago in this very building in London.
What the hell is going on when I apologise for cutting you off?
Oh, I'd say you found some manners somewhere.
I don't know if that chair shot from Mark Haskins has altered my mind. I hope not. It won't happen twice, I'm assure you of that.
Well, that assumes you have a mind. There's the Tilton World backbreaker on Ashley Dunn. Kelly Six looking concerned.
over in the corner, and as much momentum as these two young men, Dunn and Six, have had it in their early careers here in Defiant, a second consecutive defeat against the Hunters, you've got to think, would put the brakes onto that steam train pretty quickly.
It really would, and it would take him so far away from earning a shot at the Defiant tag titles. Another cover, and just a count of two. Ashley Dunn somehow managing to power out, but he is hurt. The Hunters have done exactly where they want him, in their corner.
They've slowed this down, taken SCC out of the game, and as you mentioned, the crowd here almost certainly is, Hunter goes for a cover, gets two, almost certainly behind the SCC. We saw a kind of half-hearted SCC chant from some members of the audience, but what the Hunters have done very successfully here is taken both, not only their opponents, but the crowd out of the game here. They have silenced, or at least they had, just as I'm saying that, the crowd starting up, they have silenced this crowd, and that has to be key to their strategy.
They will do, because the South Coast Connection, they thrive on the energy of the fans. They really, really do. You see it in all of their matches. They feed off that passion. If the Hunters can eradicate that South Coast Connection, they have a problem.
At the moment, Ashley Dunn definitely has a problem. He's putting very little offense against the Hunters, but now he manages to make the tag to Kelly Six. That's the smartest thing he could do. Dunn was obviously hurting. Kelly Six, though, coming in a house of fire here. Drop kick on Jim Hunter.
Kelly Six, the larger of the two men in the South Coast Connection.
Six will try and send Hunter into the corner, gets reversed. Six, though, takes out the knee. Hunter eats the middle turnbuckle. Six, it's a runner. Oh, uses his body as a projectile.
That was unique.
Comes Lee Hunter. Six ends up behind. Great counter from the youngster. Ashley Dunn back in. Ashley Dunn with the fireman's carry. Drops the head of Hunter across his knee. Dunn may have hurt his knee in the process, though.
Well, it doesn't no matter, because he's the one on the ring apron. Oh, spoke too soon. Commentator's curse.
Dunn back in. Maybe another double team move here. We've seen that before.
That could be it.
The backcracker for Ashley Dunn. Is it enough to crack the Hunters? No, not yet.
Hunter staying in this one, and again, listen, Bradshaw, they've taken the crowd largely out of this match.
Well, that is the SCC's job now. They've got to take advantage here of that almost hometown advantage that they have. Got to exploit that. Get this crowd back in, get that adrenaline going. That's when they're at their best, when they're feeling the energy. Kelly Six went in there, Dunn went in as well. Here comes Hunter! Moonsault takes out both of his opponents. And that is another example of how SCC are struggling to get any sustained momentum here.
Oh, now it's 2-on-1, the Hunters. Oh, big DDT.
DDT really delivered with some aggression. And for a sunset flip is Lee Hunter. Jim will help him. It wasn't a sunset flip, it was a neck breaker into the knees of his brother. Jim goes for the cover. 2 count, this one continues. The Hunters, though, increasingly in control.
You have to believe if the Hunter brothers come out with another victory over the South Coast Connection here, that they would be the ones knocking on Billy Wood's door, demanding, if you could, of IPW UK, that they get a Defiant Tag Team title shot.
I'm not sure Billy Wood's going to listen to anyone who's part of the Defiant roster, but
good point.
Fortunately for us, we have one more week of this IPW control after this week. Kelly Six now has Hunter on his back. Ashley Dunn on the top rope. Watch out, there's incoming from above. The double foot stomp. Oh my, right on the back of the neck of Hunter. Referee, I think, is saying that Kelly Six isn't the legal man. Or maybe it's Lee Hunter who's not legal.
Oh, and South Coast Connection can't believe it. They felt they had the match won.
They might not believe it, but that's good officiating by Joel Allen. Ashley Dunn sent to the outside, dispatched. There's a small package from Kelly Six. And a reversal by Hunter. Oh, he got it. The Hunters stole it. Hunters win again.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your winners, the Hunter Brothers!
Second consecutive win over the SCC for the Hunter Brothers. As you say, the Hunters must now be in contention for a tag team title shot, but we don't know who the champions are going to be because IPW's Billy Wood has decreed that next week Primate and Jimmy Havoc, after fighting each other, must defend the Defiant Tag titles against Mark Haskins and Chris Ridgway.
That's huge, absolutely huge.
Manchester, February 18th and 19th. Defiant Wrestling returns to the Bowlers Exhibition Center. See Defiant Wrestling Champion, The Truth, Austin Aries. General Manager Stu Bennett, formerly known as Wade Barrett. Plus, the Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray. Leader of the Curb Crawlers, Martin Kirby. The Renegade, Mark Haskins. Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson. The Iron Man, Joe Coffey. David Starr, Jern Simmons, Primate, and Rampage. Suitable for all ages. Tickets from just £15 at wearedefiant.com.
Adam Wilborn backstage with Gabriel Kidd ahead of his title match with Austin Aries for the Defiant Championship. Now, Gabe, are you a little bit distracted with Prince Amin now joining the congregation?
Listen, you've asked me this before. Am I distracted? I've got a Defiant title match ahead of me. I'm not distracted. That is all I'm thinking about. That's all I'm focusing about. Do you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take on one of the best professional wrestlers on this planet. I'm going to beat him for his championship. And I'm going to come back with my title and I'm going to find Amin and I'm going to find the old Amin. That's who I'm going to find. I'm doing this for him. I'm going to win this title and I'm doing this for Amin.
Gabriel Kidd, best of luck in your match tonight.
Thank you.
Tag team action coming up here on Defiant and IPW versus Defiant.
The following is a tag team match set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming to the ring at this time, representing IPW. This is the team of Mike Davis, Matt Fletcher, Aussie Open.
Well, it was 2 weeks ago here on Defiant that Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher managed to get an upset in a non-title match against the tag team champions Primate and Jimmy Havoc. If they could get another win here against two of Defiant's finest in Coffee and Gunn, then Aussie Open will have struck a very psychologically significant blow for IPW.
Well, BT Gunn, he's been out for around a month now in Defiant Wrestling. Both these men take full credit for it.
As you say, he's been out for a month at the hands of IPW, but he is back.
Introducing their opponents, first of all, BT Gunn! And his tag team partner, the Iron Man, Joe Coffey!
So BT Gunn and Joe Coffey with a point to prove, but here come Aussie Open, trying to surprise these two members of the Defiant roster.
Well, as soon as Aussie Open came out, you felt the mood change in this building. It certainly did, where we're sitting. These men so dangerous. I do not trust IPW. I do not feel safe whenever they are around.
It's so unpredictable having IPW in control. They're in their second of 3 weeks in which Billy Wood and IPW are going to be in charge here. They've already made several matches designed to embarrass and humiliate Defiant. We saw that attempt to take away the women's title from Kaylee Ray earlier. We know that next week Jimmy Havoc and Primate are forced to compete against each other in a hardcore match before defending the tag titles.
That's unbelievable. It is Havoc around here. What's this, Kyle Fletcher?
And Fletcher got the airtime from Kyle Fletcher.
Well, we might not like them, Bradshaw, but these guys from IPW UK, they're incredible athletes. BT Gunn, he's been away for around a month. Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher and all of IPW they're taking credit for it.
I don't know if credit is the word, but they're certainly responsible for what happened to BT Gunn when IPW initially invaded us several weeks ago now. Covered by Davis, gets a 2 count. Coffey trying to fight back here against this big Australian.
Look at this. Look at this. Mark Davis wisely backed Joe Coffey into his own corner. Tags in Kyle Fletcher. The Iron Man right for the pickings.
And again, this is all part of a coordinated strategy to discredit Defiant Wrestling so that by the end of these 3 weeks in charge, there is nothing left. IPW looking to take out one of their big rivals on the British wrestling scene. They're doing it by trying to take those tag titles away next week, as I talked about. They're trying to keep the belt with the World Championship with Austin Aries in our main event coming up next as he defends against Gabriel Kidd in what apparently IPW think is going to be basically a training session for Austin Aries.
I feel it's going to be a cakewalk for Aries against Gabriel Kidd. I have to say I'm inclined to agree slightly. We'll see what happens. However, it seems like a bit of a mismatch in terms of experience anyway.
Yeah, when does that ever stop Gabriel Kidd?
That's a very good point.
We'll find out later on in just a little while, but imagine if things do go to plan here for IPW. They're already completely changing the course of Chain Reaction, which is just a couple of weeks away.
Billy Wood and IPW UK believe their whole beef with Defiant Wrestling is that they feel they called the shots in the UK scene. They've been here for years. And then all of a sudden Defiant Wrestling comes along, connects with the wrestling fans in Britain. Billy Wood, IPW don't like it.
Don't forget, speaking of Chain Reaction, that you can catch all of the action on February 18th from Manchester. If you haven't signed up yet, go to access.wearedefiant.com. You get a 30-day free trial. And as part of those 30 days, of course, you can see Chain Reaction in its entirety.
You can see the landscape of this entire company change forever.
Hang on a second now, Coffey. Look at the strength. Look at the strength of the Iron Man.
It's mind-blowing. BT Gunn absolutely aching for that big tag on the shelf for around a month.
Yeah, and don't think, by the way, that Gunn voluntarily was on the shelf. He would have been back the very next week given the option, but he was not medically cleared to be here. But he has been just brewing at home, just seething at what happened to him, looking for the chance to take revenge, and he's doing it here against Aussie Open.
BT Gunn has been one of Scotland's finest for well over a decade. Not many injuries in that time frame. IPW UK put him on the injured list. That's how dangerous these men are.
Oh! Gunn launches like a missile between the top and middle ropes. And speaking of a missile, there he is again. This time taking out Mark Davis. Now Gunn will go to the top rope.
Kyle Fletcher all alone.
Oh, Gunn! Cross body. Fletcher could be down. He gets a 2 count, but Fletcher got out. And Gunn has been visualizing this for weeks, thinking everything he wants to do to every single member of the IPW roster who was involved in that invasion, that ongoing invasion.
You imagine those phone conversations between Coffey and Gunn talking about what they would do when they were both fit and healthy.
He takes a run up, there's the avalanche. Gunn plants his knee firmly in the forehead of Fletcher. He probably left an imprint. Round and round with the giant swing. Face first to the mat goes Fletcher. That could do it, but Davis breaks it up.
Mark Davis from out of nowhere from behind. Coffey and Gunn didn't see the big Aussie coming.
Davis with a clubbing right hand across the back of Coffey and one in the face for good measure.
Dragging Kyle Fletcher into his corner. A smart play. Makes the tag. Kyle Fletcher not even aware of it. He's out for the count.
Right, but Davis, that was smart to bring himself into the match, seeing the condition of his partner. Davis has him piled up in the corner. Gunn with the assist from Coffey countered. Coffey takes down Davis. Or rather, Gunn does, excuse me, here comes Coffey.
There we go.
The crossbody, great agility from the big man, and the 2 count, and Fletcher breaks it up.
Fletcher somehow with the wherewithal to break up that cover.
Billy Wood and the rest of the IPW roster must be back in the locker room not liking what they're seeing, or maybe they'll like this a bit more because here come Aussie Open. Davis, forearm, Fletcher's not done.
This is a double team though. Referee Joel Allen has to get one of these men out of the ring.
What a double team. May have knocked Coffey completely unconscious, the cover, and Gunn breaks it up again. Both of these teams having to save their own partners on numerous occasions here, with pinfalls looking certain otherwise.
BT Gunn so determined not to come out on the losing end. His big comeback match here on Defiant.
Chops for both members of Aussie Open from Gunn. His first match in a month. Again, the double team.
The power of Davis.
Well, that time it backfired. Gunn got out. Fletcher sent to the outside.
There's the power of Coffee.
Leaping uppercut. Fletcher tried to fly in, but he got struck by the boot of Gunn. Coffee goes for the black coffee. And with the kick, and that is the black coffee. The cover. Coffee, can he win it? And yes, he does. A blow for Defiant over IPW.
BT Gunn and Joe Coffey.
Score one for Defiant.
Well, things might not have been going our way for much of the past 3 weeks, but they certainly did there. Joe Coffey and BT Gunn with a show of defiance on behalf of Defiant Wrestling. And if Defiant can do that again in just a moment when Gabriel Kidd takes on Austin Aries, then the Defiant Championship may be coming back home. The main event, Aries and Kidd, is next here on Defiant. Main event time here on Defiant, and the Defiant Championship about to be defended.
The following singles match set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit. It is for the Defiant Wrestling Championship. Introducing first the challenger, wrestling out of Nottinghamshire, England, winning tonight 205 pounds, Gabriel Kidd!
Gabriel Kidd, the challenger for the Defiant World Title, the opportunity of a lifetime here for this 20-year-old young man, and it all has come through arrogance, through hubris from IPW owner Billy Wood, who believes that Kidd does not have a chance against the greatest man that ever lived.
Well, there's a reason that Billy Wood has that confidence, because his champion, the Defiant Wrestling Champion, is this man, Austin Aries. An opportunity for Kidd, but an opportunity for Aries to put Kidd in his place.
And now introducing the champion, wrestling out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA, and weighing tonight at 202 pounds. He is the current reigning and defending Defiant Wrestling Champion, the true Austin Aries!
Austin Aries won the Defiant Championship from Marty Scurll back in December, and now Aries looking for an easy day in the office here against Gabriel Kidd, but well, we've already seen Defiant get one up on IPW just a few moments ago with that victory for Joe Coffey and BT Gunn. Wouldn't it be poetic justice here if for the second time in 2 matches, Defiant put one over on IPW with the stakes as high as they can get?
Now, I'm a man that grounds himself in realism, and the question must be asked, how realistic is it that Gabriel Kidd can defeat Austin Aries? Billy Wood seems to think it's an impossibility. We're about to find out.
Our referee for this championship match is Joel Allen, who is showing the championship belt to both men.
What a chance for Gabriel Kidd. He could make history tonight.
Austin Aries, a former Ring of Honor World Champion, a former TNA World Champion, among his many other accolades. Gabriel Kidd, still in the first couple of years of his career, but he already has an internet title reign under his belt. Will he get a much bigger, much shinier belt before this evening is over? Give us your opinion. Who do you think will win this Defiant Championship match? Join the conversation online using the hashtag #WeAreDefiant.
Austin Aries straight off the bat mocking Gabriel Kidd. Everyone involved in Defiant Wrestling, from our vantage point, must hope that Kidd can pull this out. But again, realistically, what chance does he have against the world-class champion, Aries?
Aries, so confident here that he gives a clean break after that initial collar and elbow tie-up.
Such an intriguing story developing here in Defiant Wrestling. It could all change at a moment's notice. All it takes is a 3 count.
Austin Aries wouldn't be the first big American star who Gabriel Kidd has scored an upset victory against. It was against Cody Rhodes, of course, last year, that Gabriel Kidd stunned the world when he won that internet championship. Will lightning strike twice here, this time with the Defiant Championship on the line?
It could, but Austin Aries is a different kettle of fish, so to speak. Austin Aries has been a success every single place that he has been. No matter the odds, Austin Aries finds a way. Who believed several months ago that Austin Aries would be standing before us, Defiant Wrestling champion?
Aries riding Kidd there and then going for a quick cover. This time he's got the crucifix, both shoulders down for Aries. He goes for the submission there, and Kidd able to escape, backs out. He knew that that was a dangerous position for him to be in.
You're not kidding. Gabriel Kidd again balling up those fists. That has become something of a trademark for the young man. Always willing to fight. He'll need all that intestinal fortitude here against someone the caliber of Aries.
Aries with the side headlock. Takes Kidd down. Kidd was trying to send Aries to the ropes there, and it is in the interest, you've got to think, of the champion to slow this one down. Because Kidd, where Kidd has been so effective over the past few months, since he snapped that initial losing streak he had when he was first part of the roster here, Kidd's effectiveness has been based on his intensity, his ability to take it up several gears at a moment's notice. If Aries can slow that down, then that is very much to his advantage.
Well, the owner of IPW UK, Billy Wood, mocking Gabriel Kidd, saying he hadn't won a match. That's not strictly true. Just trying to rub salt into the wounds. You've already laid out, Bradshaw, how Gabriel Kidd has defied the odds once before, but this would be something completely different, on a whole new level.
Aries is suggesting that Gabriel Kidd call it a day.
Well, I know enough of Gabriel Kidd to tell you that is certainly not going to happen. I don't think Austin Aries thinks it will either. I think that's just mind games from the Defiant Wrestling champion.
Kidd has plenty on his mind at the moment as well, of course. He's got that ongoing situation with the congregation of Pastor William Eva, who apparently have brainwashed his best friend, Prince Amin.
He has to put all of that out of his mind. We have a championship on the line here. What an opportunity for Gabriel Kidd.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely right. If Kidd is going to have any chance whatsoever of the upset victory here, his focus needs to be 100% on Austin Aries.
Gabriel Kidd putting on the brakes.
Kidd shaking his head in front of Austin Aries. No lack of confidence from this young man. Here's Kidd with the side suplex there. He's landed on his feet, goes for the clothesline. It's a running kick. We've seen Kidd win some matches with that. He'll go for the cover. Can he win the Defiant Championship with it? Oh, what? Oh, the foot of Austin Aries on the bottom rope.
The ring awareness of Aries. That's why he's the champ. We have to give it up for him there, Bradshaw. That is why Austin Aries is the Defiant World Champion. Because of ring awareness like that.
Aries has bailed to the outside to try and regroup here. Kidd wants to follow him. Referee is trying to keep them apart.
Well, Kidd following though, defying the referee.
Gabriel Kidd clearly looking to press home this advantage while he has it. He knows that you've got to take every opportunity you can against an opponent the caliber of Aries.
There's Aries again showing showing why he is considered one of the best. Knows when to pick his shots and lure an opponent in.
Aries goes into the barrier. That's going to give Kidd even more confidence, but you're right, there's so many ways in which Aries can beat you. We've already seen him try for that last chancery, the submission. He's got that brain buster as well, of course, and he puts people away with so many other ways that Austin Aries can beat you. Kidd needs to have all of those things on his mind at every second of this match.
Oh, he dumps the champion down hard, sternum first across that steel barricade.
Kidd on the ring apron. Aries in a difficult spot here. The champion is vulnerable. Oh, but he moved out of the way, and Gabriel Kidd landed chest first over the top of that crowd barrier.
That's a game changer. You have to believe that is a game changer in this match. Austin Aries saw Gabriel Kidd coming, moved out of the way at the last possible second.
Aries leaping back over into the ringside area, putting the boot in now onto Kidd.
Aries back into... Oh,
yeah, well, Aries wants to break the count because there is a point here to this title defense. This title defense was put together solely to humiliate Defiant and one of its most recognizable figures in Gabriel Kidd. So Aries doesn't want to win by count out here. Aries wants to make a point on behalf of IPW by putting away Kidd by pinfall or submission. It could be a pinfall right now. There's the side press from Aries and a kick out from Kidd at 2.
Well, look at this. I don't think Austin Aries expected that Kidd would kick out there. We've seen Kidd. He digs deep time and time again. He belies his youth every time you see him.
Well, that's absolutely right. And what Billy Wood got so wrong when he came out here all smug last week and signed this match, he talked about that 26-0 losing streak of Gabriel Kidd. But if he'd done a little more research, he might have realised what happened after that losing streak. As we've said, Kidd became the internet champion, defended against some of the best in the world, including Zack Sabre Jr., the current internet champion, before eventually losing it to him. Kidd has proven that he can hang with the best wrestlers that there are out there, and I think this was a miscalculation by IPW if they think this is going to be easy for Aries. That being said, can he finish it? No.
Aries doesn't look happy. The more and more Kidd manages to find a way to kick out of his big power moves, that offense, Aries, he doesn't look happy with it.
Well, that's exactly because of how they've set this up. Billy Wood has set this up like it's going to be an easy day out here for Austin Aries. So every moment, every single time that Kidd kicks out like that, it is further embarrassing their game plan.
Look at this, just picking apart the body of Gabriel Kidd. The young man screaming in agony.
Wrenching that left arm is Austin Aries. He's got his body in such a position that the leverage is applying even more pressure on that stretch.
These fans firmly behind Defiant Wrestling's own Gabriel Kidd.
Kidd just took a hard forearm right into the right side of his jaw and a second one.
Seems the harder you hit Kidd, the harder he comes back at you. Oh, listen to Aries. I told you to leave.
Kidd has proven time and time again that he doesn't have an ounce of fear in his body. Aries is going to discover that here, as here comes Kidd. Oh, and you're right, those slaps across the chest, apparently waking up Gabriel Kidd. Shots to the midsection. Kidd unloading here. The challenger unloading on the champion. DDT!
Gabriel Kidd has the best of some of those classic NWA stars you remember from yesteryear. He puts a modern stamp on it. Here's the cover.
2 count. Kidd starting to believe, though, maybe that maybe he can get this done. Maybe on 9 nights out of 10, maybe on 99 nights out of 100, Gabriel Kidd would lose to Austin Aries, but maybe this is that other night.
Gabriel Kidd infuses old school flavor with modern sensibilities. He's going to need everything he has to overturn Aries. Oh, again, Aries suckered him in.
It's the experience factor for Austin Aries. Again, don't forget that Gabriel Kidd, still just 20 years old. Oh, Aries, what's he thinking here? That is a hard, hard floor.
Remember what happened earlier on. Austin Aries hasn't forgotten, chest first over that security barricade. Maybe looking for a brain buster on the concrete floor.
Kidd counted.
Oh, one more time.
All right. And Aries finds himself back in the exact position he was in earlier. Kidd will return to the ring apron. Well, Kidd's gone into the ring.
Broke the count. That was clever.
And now he's on the ring apron. Because again, Kidd knows he can't win the title by countdown or disqualification, but he could win it by hitting moves like that on Austin Aries.
Now Gabriel Kidd must pick the champion up, throw Austin Aries back in the ring, cover the man, and he could become Defiant champion. Aries is rattled.
Aries in all kinds of trouble here.
I don't think IPW UK expected this from Gabriel Kidd.
Well, Billy Wood's mission clearly was to take out Defiant, make them irrelevant in the wrestling world in the period of just 3 short weeks. Part of that plan was to embarrass Gabriel Kidd here, using Austin Aries as their secret weapon, but Kidd proving that's going to be much more difficult than they planned.
Aries takes off the elbow pad.
Oh, Kidd catches him! Kidd dumps Aries, face first. The big clothesline from Kidd. The cover to win the Defiant Championship. Yes, no!
Oh, 2 7/8. Referee Joel Allen was so close to bringing that hand down for the 3. We would have had a new champion here in London.
Gabriel Kidd, it could hardly have been closer for the challenger here. Aries still reeling, and look how he's trying to buy time here, luring the referee in. As long as he's holding the referee like that, he can't lose. Oh, referee moves! Kidd got his boot caught. Kidd got his boot caught. Unfortunate landing there for Kidd. Aries going to take advantage.
Several key moments in this match. Austin Aries has shown his vast amount of experience.
Dropped him into the back of the head, and I think Kidd's face went into the turnbuckle. Here's that last chancery again. The submission by Aries. Kidd, you have to tell what he does. Kidd taps, and Aries retains.
The winner of the match is a result of a submission, and still your Defiant Wrestling Champion, the Truth, Austin Aries!
He calls himself the Truth, and for those of us here who are part of Defiant and not part of IPW, the truth might hurt, but the truth is that Austin Aries is still our champion.
Can't argue with success. Hey, we might not like what's happening here with Billy Wood, IPW, the rest of it, but that man, Austin Aries, super impressive. What an effort from Gabriel Kidd, but Aries still the man.
Well, next week here on Defiant, don't forget, Billy Wood has decreed that the hardcore title will be on the line as Primate defends against Jimmy Havoc, but then whatever happens in that match, those two are going to have to get back on the same page. They're still the tag team champions, and they're going to defend against Haskins and Ridgway. Now, what is this from Aries?
Aries isn't finished. Oh, this is just making a statement. Gabriel Kidd, limp. Oh, wait a minute.
Shakes the hand of Kidd to Aries. What was that? I thought Aries was going to go for the brainbuster, it looked like, but
Aries nodding his head, pointing at Gabriel Kidd. A sign of respect, maybe? Looks like it.
Maybe Gabriel Kidd, maybe you're right. Gabriel Kidd, I think, has earned the respect of the Defiant Champion, but nonetheless, he is still the Defiant Champion. Austin Aries still holds the title. IPW are still pulling the strings.
Why doesn't Rampage bring his 2 very best trainees? I'll bring my 2 best trainees. We'll have ourselves a little 3-on-3.
Because IPW's Billy Wood has decreed that next week Primate and Jimmy Havoc, after fighting each other, must defend the Defiant Tag titles against Mark Haskins and Chris Ridgway.
No!